The unspoken longing. There's something strange about women. Not in the sense of being unpredictable, as many men like to joke, but in the sense that when it comes to love, to attraction, to the qualities that make their hearts flutter, they rarely say what they truly want. You can ask them. You can watch endless interviews or scroll through pages of dating advice blogs. But the answers you receive will always be incomplete. Because what women say they love in men and what they feel, drawn to in silence, are often two very different things. Imagine a man who spent his life trying to be the ideal partner. He reads the books. He learns the rules. He listens to the podcasts and rehearses the lines. And still, there's a disconnect. A quiet sense that something deeper is going on. Something unspoken that he can feel it when he walks into a room and sees her eyes linger on someone else. Not the richest guy, not the loudest one, but the man who carries something invisible, an energy, a depth, a presence that cannot be faked. That is the man she notices. That is the man she remembers. But when asked why, she won't be able to explain. She'll say something vague. He just seems confident, or there's something about him. Here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Women love things in men they will never tell you directly. Not because they are manipulative, not because they are trying to test you, but because they do not consciously know it themselves. It is encoded in instinct, in energy, in the subtle emotional signals they have been absorbing since childhood. These preferences are not verbal, they are visceral. They arrive as feelings, not thoughts. And that, gentlemen, is why most men miss them completely. But not you. Not today. In this video, we will uncover 9 hidden truths, the quiet, unspoken qualities that women deeply love in men, even if they never say them out loud. Each one will be presented like a law, a secret law of masculine energy that women feel in their bones but rarely articulate. Some of these may surprise you. Some may challenge your idea of what it means to be attractive. And some will ask you to look deep inside yourself, not to change who you are, but to reclaim something ancient, something you might have forgotten. So listen closely, not just with your ears, but with your attention, your presence, and your inner silence. Because what women secretly love isn't about what you say, it's about who you are when you don't need to be anyone else. Asterisk, as we transition into the first hidden truth, remember, each of these qualities builds upon the last. They form a mosaic of masculine presence that goes beyond appearance or charm. Let us begin. Part 1. The silent fire. What women feel but never describe. There's a man in the corner of the room. He's not the loudest. He's not the most stylish. He doesn't try to command attention, and yet people are drawn to him. Women, especially, seem to notice, then wonder why they're noticing. He's not performing. He's simply present, still, collected, like a fire that does not roar, but never dies. The power of presence. Without performance, most men are taught explicitly, or indirectly, that they need to prove their worth. Smile wider, speak faster, be impressive, be likable, be seen. But the rare man who has nothing to prove, that man is magnetic in a way that women cannot explain. He walks slower. He speaks with gravity. He listens not to respond, but to feel. His silence is not awkward. It is powerful. Because in that silence, women do not just hear words. They feel stability, mystery, and most of all, presence. The fire. That does not flinch. There is a concept in Eastern philosophy. Still water runs deep. It means the calmest energy often hides the greatest strength. Women are not looking for empty excitement. They crave a deeper current. When a man embodies inner stillness, it tells her something primal. This man will not break when the world does. Life tests women daily emotionally, internally. They intuitively long for a partner whose internal compass is unshakable, not perfect, not rigid, but grounded. A man who does not chase validation is telling her without words, I do not need your approval to be whole, but I welcome your connection. This is what we call the silent fire, stoic calmness, the masculine polarity. Think of Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Roman emperors and a stoic philosopher. He wrote, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." In today's overstimulated, reactive, attention-hungry world, calmness has become rare. But the calm man stands apart. He is a quiet rebel in a world addicted to noise. And women sense that viscerally, not consciously. Why women love quiet. Confidence. Quiet confidence is not about silence. It is about what you do not need to say. It is the confidence of a man who can handle conflict without raising his voice, who can accept a compliment without puffing his chest, who can walk into a room and choose not to be the center, because he already is the center of himself. Women are naturally attuned to a man's energy. When a man's energy is erratic, needy, or performative, they may smile, engage, even flirt, but they do not trust him at the level where real intimacy grows. The silent fire, on the other hand, signals, I'm steady. I will not collapse if you open up to me. The magnetic stillness. A Jungian perspective. Carl Jung spoke of the integration of the unconscious, including the dark, repressed parts of our psyche, our shadow. When a man confronts his shadow, he becomes whole. He gains access to his full range of energy, including the primal force most men try to avoid. A man who has integrated his shadow no longer demands approval. He radiates wholeness. Wholeness is attractive, not because it wins a woman, but because it frees her. To be soft. In a world where many women are forced to be hard to protect themselves, to lead, to carry, they quietly yearn for a man whose very presence gives them permission to exhale. The paradox. You cannot fake stillness. You cannot imitate the silent fire. You cannot act grounded if inside you are still desperate to be chosen. This is not about behavior. It is about being. The silent fire is the byproduct of a man who has sat with his own darkness, who has faced rejection, failure, abandonment, and no longer fears them. When you stop running from your own pain, you begin to glow from within, not in a showy, flashy way, but in a way that makes people wonder, who is he? That is the fire. How to cultivate the silent fire. 1. Daily stillness. Practice. Spend 10 to 20 minutes a day in complete silence. No phone, no music. Just sit. Let your thoughts rage. Don't escape them. Over time, you become the observer, not the reactor. 2. Delay your response. When someone challenges or insults you, pause, breathe. Don't react instantly. That pause is where your power grows. 3. Do hard things alone. Choose small discomforts, cold showers, solo travel, working out without music. They train your nervous system to remain calm under pressure. Final reflection for this section. Women will never say this out loud. They may describe it as something about you, but what they are really sensing is whether you are grounded in yourself or floating in need. The silent fire is the first layer of masculine mystery. It does not chase. It does not collapse. It does not beg. It simply burns quietly and irresistibly. Part 2. The sword in the sheath. The hidden strength women feel safe with. There is a kind of man whose power is not in what he does, but in what he chooses not to do. He does not intimidate with volume. He does not assert himself with bravado. Yet you can sense it just beneath his calm demeanor. There is a force, a quiet capacity for danger being carefully restrained. He could strike, but he does not. He could dominate, but he chooses patience. He does not need to flex his strength, because His strength speaks even in silence. This is the man with the sword in the sheath, not the myth of the nice guy versus the contained warrior. For decades, many men have been told that to be lovable, they must be harmless, be agreeable, be soft, be unthreatening. But harmlessness is not the same as goodness. A man who has no capacity for force is not virtuous. He is just weak. True virtue comes from having the power to destroy, but choosing restraint like a sword that remains sheathed, not because it is dull, but because it is mastered. And women feel this. They feel it in the way he maintains eye contact, not aggressively, but unflinchingly. In the way he walks seeking no permission, yet commanding respect. In the way he defends a boundary, not with yelling, but with absolute certainty. Carl Jung and the integration of the shadow. Carl Jung described the shadow as the dark, repressed aspects of our psyche: anger, desire, ambition, assertiveness. When these traits are unacknowledged, they either leak out in toxic ways or get suppressed entirely, leaving a man passive, dull, and untrustworthy. But when a man confronts his shadow, he becomes whole. He gains access to his full range of energy, including the primal force most men avoid. A man who has integrated his shadow is not dangerous in a reckless way. He is dangerous in a disciplined way. He is not looking for a fight, but he can fight. And women are drawn to this not because they want violence, but because they want to know, if life gets hard, will you be strong enough to protect what matters? Masculine polarity. Contained strength equals emotional safety. Most women do not feel safe with nice men. They may like them, they may even date them, but they do not relax around them. Niceness often masks weakness, and weakness in a chaotic world creates anxiety. A man who folds under pressure, who avoids conflict, who will not assert himself is not someone she can truly trust, but a man who has mastered his fire, whose power is under control, evokes a different response. She can feel her shoulders drop around him. She can be softer, more playful, more vulnerable, because she senses, even if everything falls apart, this man will not. Historical archetype, the samurai code. Consider the ancient samurai, trained killers, precise, brutal, efficient, and yet also poets, philosophers, men of ceremony, and calm. Their code, Bushido, was about discipline, loyalty, and restraint. Their swords remained sharp, but they did not draw them recklessly, only when principle demanded it. This is the energy of the modern man with the sword in the sheath. He does not pick fights. He does not escalate conflict. But if you cross a line, he is capable and clear, and women feel that edge. It is not about physical violence. It is about internal capacity. She senses, this man will not crumble under pressure. He will rise. Power without ego. True power is humble. It does not posture. It does not threaten. It simply is. When a woman feels that quiet power, when she knows you have the sword, but you do not need to flash it, her instincts respond. Her body relaxes, her mind trusts, because she knows this man owns himself. The difference between containment and suppression. Suppressing masculine energy leads to resentment, passive-aggressive behavior, emotional numbness, and hidden rage. But containment, being aware of your intensity and choosing where, when, and how to release, it is true strength. A man who can hold his anger, his lust, his drive, without being ruled by it is rare. Women sense that difference immediately. How to sharpen the inner sword. 1. Martial training, even light training, boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, basic self-defense, builds confidence and controlled aggression. 2. Set clear boundaries. Practice saying no without apology. Stand for what matters to you, even at the risk of disapproval. 3. Channel anger into purpose. Do not deny anger, use it. Let it fuel your goals and sharpen your focus, but never let it dictate your behavior toward others. Final reflection for this section. Women will never say this aloud. They might call it confidence or masculine energy, but what they are really responding to is your ability to be strong without being scary, to carry fire without burning the room down, to walk through life with a sword in the sheath. You do not hide your power, you own it, and because you own it, you do not need to wield it carelessly. You only need to be it. Part 3. The Lighthouse Man. He doesn't chase, he draws you in. Picture a lighthouse. It does not run around the coastline searching for lost ships. It does not scream or wave its hands for attention. It simply stands, rooted, unmoving, casting light in every direction. And because it shines steadily, the ships come to it. This is the third hidden truth. Women are quietly drawn to the man who does not chase, but radiates. The energy of anchored purpose. Most men fall into the trap of pursuit. They text too fast, try too hard, over-explain, overprove, all in the name of being assertive. But the lighthouse man does not chase attention, he commands it. Why? Because his life has direction, his energy is focused. He is not orbiting a woman, he is orbiting a mission. That mission becomes his emotional gravity. She does not have to carry him. She can rest near him. Masculine polarity. Stillness creates flow. In masculine-feminine dynamics, masculinity is direction, focus, stability. Femininity is motion, emotion, flow. When a man is a stable lighthouse, unwavering in his values, it gives a woman space to soften into her natural state of emotion and intuition. She becomes like the ocean, moving, expressive, alive, because she knows the lighthouse will not collapse. Why chasing repels attraction? The more you chase, the more you signal that you are not grounded. That creates pressure, anxiety, and subtle resistance. Chasing says, I need you to complete something in me. Holding steady says, I am already whole. You are welcome to walk with me, but I am not lost. Women feel this, even if they cannot articulate it. From a psychological lens, attachment and security. People with anxious attachment tend to over-pursue, seeking reassurance and validation often too soon. That behavior, though well-intentioned, can feel clingy or chaotic. The lighthouse man, by contrast, emits secure energy. He does not play games. He also does not collapse into her world. He maintains his routines, his goals, his friendships. This communicates emotional maturity, and emotional maturity is profoundly attractive. Lighthouses do not move, but they shine. This is not about being passive or cold. The lighthouse does shine. The lighthouse man shows interest, communicates, creates space for intimacy, but from a place of strength, not scarcity, from presence, not performance. He does not rush, convince, or impress. He simply shows up as himself consistently, calmly, unapologetically. And that is rare. How to become the lighthouse one. Develop a daily rhythm. Build non-negotiable routines around your health, goals, and peace. 2. Practice non-reactivity. When she tests you or becomes emotional, hold your ground. Stay open but steady. 3. Prioritize your calling. Have something bigger than dating driving your life. Passion creates polarity, the beam that pulls people in. Final reflection for this section. The lighthouse man does not chase or prove. He shines day after day, regardless of who is watching. That quiet constancy, that steady light, is what draws women in through trust, not lines. Deep down, every woman wants to know, if I lose my way, will you still be standing? Part 4. The Unshakable Tree. The calm strength women lean on. Storms will always come emotionally, financially, spiritually. And when the winds rise, people instinctively reach for stability. For women, this instinct is even stronger, not because they are weak, but because they are wired to seek emotional safety and connection. That is why women secretly love the man who stands like a tree, rooted, grounded, unmoving in the storm, the calm in chaos. Every woman has experienced emotional overwhelm from life, work, family, or the weight of her own heart. In those moments, she does not want advice or solutions. She wants to feel that the man beside her is unshaken by her emotions, that her storm does not uproot him. He can hold space not with fixes, but with solid presence, stoicism, stillness as strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The idea of being untouched by what you cannot control is the essence of masculine grounding, and it is quietly irresistible to women. When her world feels chaotic, what she craves most is a man who does not get swept away, not from indifference, but from mastery of his own inner weather. Why emotional reactivity kills attraction. Many men react emotionally to a woman's emotions. She is upset, he panics. She withdraws, he chases. She criticizes, he defends. In doing so, he joins the storm instead of being the tree. What could have been trust becomes tension, and attraction turns into anxiety. The unshakable tree, however, stays still, breathes, listens not to control, but to connect, and becomes a sanctuary. The masculine nervous system as a foundation. Humans co-regulate nervous systems. Calm begets calm, reactivity begets tension. Women are especially attuned to this. A man who trains his nervous system to remain steady emits a deep peace. It is not what he says, but how he breathes, how he moves, how he holds himself. Being a tree, not a wall. Unshakable strength is not emotional shutdown. It is being available and firm at once. A wall resists everything. A tree bends, sways, but never breaks. That energy allows a woman to feel deeply without fear of collapsing him. How to cultivate inner rootedness. 1. Controlled breath under pressure. When triggered, pause and take slow, deep breaths. 2. Emotional labeling practice. Name your emotions silently. This is frustration. This is fear. 3. Sit with discomfort daily. Practice remaining present in emotional tension. Final reflection for this section. The man who stands like a tree does not raise his voice or fix your pain. He simply stays with depth, warmth, and unwavering presence. Women will not articulate it, but they will breathe easier, lean in, and trust, because they know, if the world shakes, he will not. Part 5. The Playful King. The man who doesn't take himself too seriously. There is a kind of man who walks into a room and instantly makes people feel at ease, confident without rigidity, commanding yet light-hearted, masculine without tension. He smiles effortlessly, teases without cruelty, jokes not to escape emotion, but to invite warmth. This is the playful king, and women secretly love him. The power of lightness in a heavy world. Life is heavy responsibilities, expectations, pain, uncertainty. Women often carry emotional and practical burdens that feel relentless. When she meets a man who can bring lightness without losing depth, it is like oxygen. He does not minimize life's challenges, but he reminds her that joy still lives here, that playfulness is not weakness, but the expression of someone strong enough not to drown in the dark. Humor is a sign of confidence. Humor is not just about being funny. It is about being unafraid. A man who jokes effortlessly reveals, I am not fragile. I can laugh at myself, at life, even at chaos. That self-directed humor is magnetic because it is safe. He is not attacking or dominating. He is inviting connection. In a world of men who are either too self-serious or too immature, the playful king offers mature levity. Why women love this energy? Women move through subtle emotional landscapes that men often miss. When a man can meet her there, not by fixing, but by lightening the mood, she feels seen. A well-timed smile, a witty observation, a gentle tease when things feel tense. These small gestures make her feel safe, understood, and alive. She does not want a clown. She wants a king who knows how to dance. Kierkegaard and the Power of Irony. Søren Kierkegaard wrote, "The person who has learned to laugh at himself has discovered a kind of freedom." The playful king does not avoid reality. He refuses to let it consume him. He is serious about life, but not somber. Responsible, but with a glint in his eye. He does not need to prove his power, because his presence is enough. His laughter is not an escape. It is a sign of emotional wealth. The shadow side. Humor that hides pain. Performance comedy can be a masked constant joking to avoid feeling. That is the jester, not the king. The playful king is anchored. He can be serious when needed, hold space, and yet invoke joy because his heart is liberated, not closed. How to cultivate playful kingship. 1. Laugh at yourself daily. Notice your own flaws and mishaps, and smile at them. 2. Tease with warmth, not edge. Aim to uplift energy, not lower it. Avoid sarcasm and cutting remarks. 3. Use humor to connect, not escape. In emotionally rich moments, add play while staying present. Final reflection for this section. The playful king does not perform. He radiates ease. His laughter softens reality and reminds her, even when life is hard, joy is still an option. To a woman who has carried so much, that feels like coming home. She may never verbalize it, but she will remember how he made her laugh like a child again. Part 6. The man who sees. The one who listens between her words. She tells a story, but stumbles halfway through. She says she is fine, but her eyes betray heaviness. She laughs at dinner, yet her hands fidget under the table. Most men miss these cues, not because they are cruel, but because they were never taught how to see. Then comes him the man who does not just hear her, he feels her. He picks up the pauses, the energy, the change in breath, the things she does not say but desperately wants someone to notice. This is the man who sees, and his presence is unforgettable. The deepest human need, to be seen without judgment. Beneath every relationship lies the question, do you see me? Really? Not just my face or my words, but my soul, my contradictions, my unsaid fears, and my tender truths. Women yearn for this kind of presence because in a world that constantly demands performance, the rare man who simply witnesses her with compassion becomes a miracle. Presence is rare and precious. Most people do not truly listen. They wait to respond, listen for facts, but miss emotion, or stay in their heads rather than entering the moment. The man who sees does none of these. He does not interrupt or fix. He rests his awareness on her, without rushing, without flinching. In doing so, he creates what every woman longs for, a space where her inner world feels safe. Eastern wisdom, presence as gift. In Zen teachings, there is a saying, the most precious gift you can offer is your full attention. Shi Heng Yi speaks of inner stillness as the path to outer connection. When your mind is calm, your perception sharpens. You begin to notice what others miss. The man who sees cultivates that stillness. He notices her small shifts, her emotional cues. In his presence, she feels both naked and safe. Emotional attunement, the secret language of connection. Women are naturally intuitive, but long to be intuitively understood. The man who sees pays attention, remembers details, and asks the question. Behind the question This skill, emotional attunement, means syncing with another person's state and responding with care, not control. It is not about perfection, but about being with her in the emotion. When a woman feels seen, she softens. When she softens, she opens. And when she opens, love flows. Why most men miss this and how to reclaim it. Modern life trains men to be thinkers, fixers, achievers, but connection requires slowness, sensing, silence. The man who sees combines logic with awareness. He reads the mood, hears sadness behind sarcasm, notices when her smile does not reach her eyes. This is not weakness. It is rarity. How to sharpen your emotional vision. 1. Listen without fixing. Next time someone vents, resist advice. Instead say, "Tell me more," and be quiet. 2. Track body language. Notice eye movements, posture shifts, tone changes. They often reveal more than words. 3. Meditate on people. During meditation, focus on someone you care about. Imagine their feelings. Train your empathy muscle. Final reflection for this section. The man who sees is not flashy or always first noticed, but he is the one a woman remembers long after the conversation ends. He did more than talk or impress, he understood. In a world where everyone is trying to be heard, he gave her what she did not know she was starving for: to be seen in silence and still loved. Part 7. The Calm Storm. The man who owns his anger, not the other way around. There is a moment every woman watches closely. When a man gets angry, not annoyed, not irritated, but truly provoked. Because in that moment, something essential is revealed. Is he in control of his power, or is his power in control of him? The man who loses himself yelling, blaming, breaking things instantly loses trust. But the man who feels his rage, yet stays present, that man becomes unforgettable. He is the calm storm. Anger is not the enemy. Modern culture swings between two extremes: repression. Real men don't get angry. An explosion. Let it out, or it will eat you alive. Both are dangerous. There is a third path: awareness, where anger is not denied or indulged, but observed, owned, and directed. Women respect a man who can access his fire without burning the room down. Strength of contained emotion. Think of a thundercloud. It holds massive tension, but does not always unleash it violently. It gathers, builds, rumbles. The calm storm does not pretend everything is fine. He does not smile through disrespect, but he also does not lash out recklessly. He channels his intensity into clarity, boundaries, and decisive action, not destructive outbursts. That makes a woman feel safe, not just physically, but emotionally. Why unchecked rage breaks attraction. If your anger makes her feel unsafe, she will never fully open, even if she loves you. Safety is the root of surrender. If you cannot control yourself, why should she trust you with herself? She may stay, but she will pull back emotionally and energetically. The calm storm, by contrast, evokes even when he is pushed. He does not lose himself. That is not just attractive, it is rare. Philosophical insight. Buddha and the fire within. The Buddha taught that anger is like holding a hot coal. You burn yourself first. He did not say avoid fire. He taught mastery. A man who can feel anger without acting on impulse, who sits with discomfort and transmute it, becomes like a monk with a sword, peaceful but powerful. Women sense when strength has been tempered by discipline. How to cultivate calm power. 1. Anger tracking journal. Record anger triggers, what you felt when it arose, how your body reacted. Awareness begins the taming. 2. Pause before response. Delay reactions by 5 deep breaths. That pause creates space for choice. 3. Physical transmutation ritual. Use intense exercise or primal movements to release tension healthily. Channel rage into momentum, not destruction. Final reflection for this section. The calm storm does not suppress his fire. He becomes the fire contained, directed, alive. He does not threaten or punish. He holds. When a woman sees a man hold, his fury like a sword still in the sheath, she realizes, if he can stay calm when triggered, he can be trusted when everything else falls apart. Part 8. The Hidden Warrior. The man who fights without needing recognition. He does not talk about how hard he works. He does not post about late nights, sacrifices, or inner battles. He simply shows up day after day. Though few notice and fewer still say thank you, he continues. He does not need applause because his actions are for something deeper, something sacred. This is the hidden warrior, and whether she realizes it or not, women feel immense safety and admiration around him. The quiet man of resolve. Every woman meets a man who carries a calm heaviness, not depressive, not bitter, but the weight of self-discipline and unspoken duty. He takes responsibility when others blame. He protects with consistent action, and he does not need to say, "I've got you," because his presence already does. Why loud warriors repel? Some men demand validation. For every good deed, crying out, "Look at me." That energy feels insecure. It says, "I do this to be seen," not, "I do this because it is right." The hidden warrior, by contrast, does not need recognition. He is not playing a role. He is living a code. Women respond deeply to that. Reality. Sun Tzu and the Art of Invisible Strength. Sun Tzu wrote, "The greatest victory is that which requires no battle." Likewise, the hidden warrior avoids drama and unnecessary conflict, not out of weakness, but because he knows his energy is sacred. He is strategic, restrained, and understands that the real war is internal. Every day he defeats procrastination, ego, and self-doubt. That is the man women want to lean on because his power does not destroy. It supports masculine integrity, doing without displaying. Integrity is what you do when no one is watching. The hidden warrior lives this. He wakes early when he could. Sleep in. He protects her peace without asking for praise. He endures discomfort to provide, to lead, to keep things stable, and he does not advertise it. This is maturity, and to the feminine heart, maturity is magnetic. How to embody the hidden warrior 1. Daily discipline. No announcement. Pick one hard task per day and complete it in silence. 2. Serve without expectation. Help someone without needing thanks. Let your kindness reflect your character, not your image. 3. Write a personal warrior code. Define your values and commit to them, not for status, but because you said so. Final reflection for this section. He may never trend or go viral, but the hidden warrior holds what the world has forgotten: honor. A woman who senses a man who fights for her peace while quietly battling his own wars feels something hard to explain. It is not charisma or charm, it is trust, and trust creates lifelong love. Part 9. The self-owner, the man who belongs to himself. He walks into the room not looking for approval, not waiting to be chosen. His posture is open, his gaze steady. He smiles, but not to be liked. He speaks, but not to impress. He belongs nowhere because he already belongs to himself. This is the final hidden truth. The man women secretly love most is the man who does not need their love to feel whole. A difference between confidence and self-ownership. Confidence says, "I believe I'm good." Self-ownership says, "I accept all of me, especially the parts still in progress." Most men pursue confidence like a goal, chasing achievements, appearance, success, hoping to one day feel enough. The self-owner does not wait to become enough. He chooses it. not as arrogance, but as responsibility. This is who I am. This is who I'm becoming, and I stand by it. That grounded energy not only attracts women, it liberates them, because she does not feel she must manage his ego. He has already done that work. Nietzsche's call to the sovereign individual. Friedrich Nietzsche wrote of the Bermensch, the overman, who creates his own values, who lives not by society's rules, but by his inner compass. The self-owner is this man in modern form. He does not bend to trends, betray his truth for approval, or let rejection define his worth. In a world of masks, he dares to be whole, and women feel that why this quality is so attractive. It is not because he is cold or unreachable. It is because he is centered. His emotions do not own him. Her moods do not unbalance him. He is not indifferent. He is unshakable. He can be soft without weakness, say no without guilt, and walk away not to punish, but to preserve his peace. This inner sovereignty gives women permission to trust, because a man who owns himself will never try to own her. The trap of seeking validation. Many men measure their worth through women's attention, compliments, attraction, even sex. Become fragile currency for self-esteem. That dependence creates pressure and performance, and eventually resentment. The self-owner brings something else, freedom. He says, I want you, but I don't need you to feel complete. That unspoken statement is deeply attractive because it is rare and true. How to become the self-owner. 1. Radical self-honesty. Ask yourself, where am I betraying myself to be liked? Then stop even if it costs you attention. 2. Reclaim time alone. Spend time off screen, off noise. Learn to enjoy your own company. It breeds sovereignty. 3. Build a why you can live with. Define a life purpose bigger than validation. Let your life be a message, not a reaction. Final reflection for this section. The self-owner does not shine the brightest or chase attention. His presence feels solid. You can lean against it and trust it, because it does not sway with opinion. To a woman navigating a world of noise, he becomes a lighthouse of calm. She may not describe it, she may even resist it first, but she will always remember how he made her feel. With him, I could finally stop performing because he never needed me to be anything but real. The hidden truth, what she will never say, but always feel. So now you have seen the 9 things women secretly love in men, but rarely, if ever, say out loud. Not because they are playing games, not because they want to confuse you, but because most of these truths are felt, not formulated. They live beneath language, in the quiet corners of the heart, in the way her breath changes when she feels safe, or the way her eyes soften when she is truly seen. A quiet kind of attraction. She may never say, I love how calm you are when things go wrong, but she will lean into you when life gets hard. She may never admit, I respect you because you do not chase validation, but she will hold you tighter because she knows you are not performing. She may not always verbalize, I trust you because you own your anger instead of exploding, but she will relax around you in ways she never does with others. That is the hidden truth. Women do not fall for men who try to be impressive. They fall for men who are deeply themselves. You cannot fake it, but you can become it. These qualities cannot be copied like lines from a script. They cannot be hacked, downloaded, or performed for long. They must be lived. They are not techniques. They are expressions of who you become when you finally stop asking, what do women want from me? And start asking, what kind of man do I respect when I am? Alone in the mirror? When you answer that question truthfully and start becoming him, you will not have to chase anyone. Your presence will do the work. One final reflection. Out of the 9 qualities we have explored, the silent fire, the sword in the sheath, the lighthouse man, the unshakable tree, the playful king, the man who sees, The calm storm, the hidden warrior, the self-owner. Which one spoke to you most? Which one already lives in you? And which one are you quietly called to awaken? The truth is, you do not need to become someone else to be loved. You need only return to the man you were before the world told you to be anyone else. When you do, she will feel it even if she never says a word.